So, hi guys!
Hello everyone.
How's it going?
Nice to see you.
You too. It's been forever.
Yeah, we just were speaking with Marius how
many years?
long we didn't see each other.
Yes, that's the last time.
Must be something like this. Yeah.
It was Beirut, no?
Yeah, exactly. Holland.
Holland.
Yes.
The good old Dutch dance lab.
Yes, nice. It was very nice.
You
How are you
can
guys?
see we have so many people are watching us because everybody are excited to see you. You know,
We're excited to
everybody.
be here.
Yeah, we're very happy to be here.
Nice.
Definitely.
Thank you for accepting. Actually, I need to tell a small story that I was writing to Ina and I was asking for this interview and I didn't know if you, Troels, is living somewhere near or in the same city. I didn't know exactly the situation, yes. And then somehow we were speaking and she said, if you want also to have Troels. And I was like, of course we want to have, but I was even shy to ask, you know.
We know the situation in New York.
Yeah, that is difficult to meet and all the stuff. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
you
we're very lucky. Yeah,
Maybe
we're
you
very
can
lucky.
tell us a little bit about your situation exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the situation in New York is pretty much that you see it on the news. It's very, very, very bad in terms of the numbers. And of course, the areas around the hospitals, you feel it even more because then the ambulances and everything is going on all the time. And right where we live, it's quiet. And you're still able to go outside. Like I just heard that you spoke about the mask. Everyone has to wear the mask. I don't think it's compulsory yet, unless you go into shops.
But it has to be. Everybody has to wear a mask. That's for sure. It has to be compulsory.
And yeah, we live in the same area. We live 10 minutes walk from each other, so it's easy. We still see each other, still like keep ourselves inspired and benefit of being so close for each other, but not living together.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. Okay, guys, maybe we start slowly with the questions because for sure by going through the questions, we will have some stories and we will stop and just chat about something. So
yeah,
I have many of them, but maybe we will have just 3 of them. We
we'll
never
see.
know.
We'll take it as it goes.
It's okay.
Have
We take
some
it
fun.
how it goes.
So first question, also a lot of people were writing and they were excited and they were asking me, what age did you start to dance, both of you, in which countries?
Okay.
I started when I was 11 because I was doing other things before. I was rhythm gymnastics and swimming and all of this. So I started when I was 11 back home, and already at 15 I moved to Italy, and ever since then I have been just dancing abroad. I haven't really lived back home for most of my life now. So yeah, it's a long time ago.
Back home, for the people to know, I don't know if everybody knows where you come from originally, because you say back home, but it's actually
Bulgaria. Yes. If there's anyone from Bulgaria, mwah, I love you and miss you all.
So you can speak Italian also?
Oh, I used to, but now I don't really practice it. Maybe in a few days I can pick it up, but now Danish is a little bit more in front of Italian, so that's good.
So actually you can speak 4 languages, can it be?
Bulgarian, if you count Bulgarian, English, Danish, and a bit of Italian. Yeah, but I understand Russian too. Like 80% of Russian I would understand.
Yeah.
So it's good.
So be careful when you talk around her. She understands everything.
I know. I heard actually some stories about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I heard some stories. Somebody told me that like Ina was always saying like she doesn't understand Russian or something, or she cannot speak. Maybe she said she couldn't speak.
That's correct. Yes.
And somebody told me that they were speaking Russian. And then they realized that actually Ina understands. So they was like, oh, sorry.
And like all of us, we have a lot of Russian friends, around us in the final, in the semi-final.
That's it.
Well, so now everybody knows.
Yeah. Sorry
Now
for
people
that.
will be much more quiet around Ina. It's like, why did they stop talking around
Exactly. What's wrong now?
So Troels, what about you?
Well, I actually started, my mom sent me to the dance school when I was very young, like 3 years old. But it was literally just the local village dance school. So it was just like fun and games more than anything, and kind of etiquette, how to, learn to manners and so on. But I quickly found it quite boring at that age, also because I was the only boy there. So then I actually stopped. Yeah, at the end, I was the only boy at dance school. I was like, what's happening? And I was too young to appreciate that apparently at that time. So I realized it later on, and then I started again when I was around 10 years old, I believe. Again, very low level, but so then my first partner's sister, she danced in Aarhus, which you obviously also know you went to. And that's when it kind of kicked off when I was around 13, 14. And we got in contact with some better environment, some more educated teachers and so on. So that's when it started. And that was all back in Denmark.
Nice. Cool. Nice to know that about you. Okay, guys, and what about when you started to dance together, and some small story about like how you made tryout problem, how your couple began to build up.
Maybe you tell this story, because I feel I'm always the one telling that story. So I'm already tired of my version. Let's hear his version.
It's gonna be pretty much the same version. This is not one of the stories that have one side or the other, but it was we started it back in 2005, but we knew each other from before that because Ina came to have a tryout with Morten, who dances with Roxy. At that time, I had a partner actually from Moldova, and Ina came there to have a tryout with Morten, and it didn't work out at the time. She went to Italy then, right? She went to Italy and started dancing with Raimondo, and then I split up with my partner. So then she was with a partner, I was without a partner, and then at some point we both were without, and we were trying to coordinate, okay, how to do it and so on. And it ended up that we went to Vienna Open, and we just did the tryout in the hallway because there was no practice floor, it was busy or whatever. So we just literally did it in the hallway. We both flew there, and then we decided it worked.
Yeah.
And Ina came to Denmark a few weeks later, and then left her stuff and came back, and then that's it.
14 years
so
ago.
when she left
14 years ago.
You knew she will come back.
No, she left.
What was that?
in Italy.
In Italy, I was thinking, like when the girls coming by the man and they put the toothbrush. So she will come back.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I put all my life there. Not just I just dropped my whole life there, and it's like, I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how it was. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, now we go to the small tricky questions, because Ina allowed me to do that. So as I know, and
there will be some tricky questions. Yes. So just because Ina, I think it was before she was speaking about it with Troels.
Yes,
she gave us this hint, that the questions can be also tricky. So then we went for it, and now they were going to start.
Yeah, but I love that because. Yeah, I love that, because normally we also, when we do this kind of interview, you try to be polite, nice, and all the time is everything. The life is beautiful, and sometimes you want this kind of true, So my question is, I actually know you quite well. When I was dancing WDC, and we were like meeting often when I was dancing with Anton Karpov. So I saw that Troels, he had many girlfriends, like, and always beautiful ones, like, I have to admit. So my question to Ina: were you jealous when Troels were having constantly new girlfriends?
This is a great question. I love it. Well, I tell you, let me think, because there has been quite a few, hasn't there? No, he definitely knows which ones I've liked more and which ones I have liked less, for sure.
That's clear.
But I tell you why I don't think that ever was an issue, because I never felt that I got like less attention or less care from him, or in a way less commitment to the practice, because that would be what would make me angry or jealous of the situation. He has always been so good with dividing these two things and putting an importance where his mind is at.
Wow.
Right? Don't now take this for granted. So in a way, I think that's why I haven't felt that feeling. But I was amused in the beginning, because I was a bit of a quieter starter, you know, slow starter, meaning boring teenager, being in the, being very much like practice and then home and practice and then home. So I was always thinking like, wow, he's quite good to manage both, you know, best of both worlds. But then I think I definitely caught up, and it's been fun for me too. So I don't think ever it has been any of that. No.
Great, nice. And Troels,
I
what
actually
about you?
remember.
I don't know.
Sorry, it's just to have a story. I remember this thing about balancing, because I had obviously as well, it was different because Ina moved to Denmark, and I had a lot of friends growing up. We were teenagers when we started. We were 17, 18. So of course it's a different age as well. But I remember that thing, that even if I decided to go out, I knew that I wanted to go to practice. So I remember one time I came home from going out with my friends, and Ina had breakfast.
Yes.
I slept for a few hours. I went for practice. I went home, had a nap, and we went for practice again. Because again, it was just, I would never let the practice down. If I decided to have fun, I should also get the punishment of it in some way.
Yeah.
That's great. Really nice.
That's good.
We also say to our students, like, you can go and have party and we don't care what you make in the night, but if you don't miss the practice, then we don't care. But if you come tired and you cannot practice,
I'm even worse than that. For example, you know, sometimes people can get injured and all this stuff, yes? So there are boys asking me, yes, but sometimes to drink a beer or something like this, look, you can do whatever you want, but then if because of your food and because of your alcohol, you're not gonna generate, and then you're gonna be, and I will gonna show it exactly with the finger to you, you did bad. If not, I'm okay. So then you start to think, you know, which
It's
very
much.
Especially
it's all about the responsibility that you can do whatever you want, but you have to learn to take the responsibility for those actions. And I think that's a great lesson as well, because you also have to carry the weight of your choices throughout your whole career. So you shouldn't be afraid. Now, it's partying and having fun is one thing, but in general, through your career, you have to make decisions. Do I want to do this or that? And there will be a result of those actions.
Yeah, actually, it's very good because you speak about that age. You just said 17, 18, yes? And also, for example, there is an age like Ina went to Italy when she was 15. I came to Germany when I was 15. No parents. I think by Ina was also no parents included.
Oh, yes, everybody said that in Bulgaria and Romania.
Khrystyna went to Russia 17 she was, yes? 16, 17. And I think this is the moment, especially when the brain can see also something else. But I mean, yeah, you need to, like you said, Troels, to be responsible for that. So for the people which are watching, I think it's very important.
Yeah,
I think so. Definitely.
Yeah, also nice that you took care, like, about Ina feelings, let's say, that she came by you to practice and she dedicated her life for the dancing, and you were like supporting that, because some guys think like, okay, you come to me, to my country, and I don't care, you know. But this is nice from
I think in some way, I think it has to do with maybe something my dad always told me. It's like, if you start something, you have to finish it. You have to commit it. And that's the thing. Once you take that responsibility onto you, you can't do it halfway. You have to stand up for whatever you signed up for.
Nice.
So you signed up for that.
I did sign up for that. And also, in some way, another thing is also, I knew I wanted to dance. So just because you shouldn't give up what you want today for what you really want. If you know, I really wanted to dance, but sometimes I also wanted to have fun and those things. But overall, it was the end goal that drove me.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So guys, a little bit about your cha-cha-cha figure, the famous one. I have my name to this figure. I will not tell you the name, but I actually asked people to give the name of this figure, and I received so many names of that figure.
Oh, you did?
When Troels, you stay like that, and Ina is doing like kicks with the legs, you know? That
so
figure. Yeah. So it was many like examples. Ina step, 6 cha-cha-cha, floor is Ava, standing in the ashel, speed flicky, to go or not to go, leg square.
I love that.
The floor is lava again, razzle dazzle, shake, shake, kick, fast feet, babala, freaky swivels, burning call. Call. And my version is Ken and Barbie. I don't know why. I have this image. You stand there like
I
hands
just stand
up.
like Ken.
Yeah, yeah.
You know when you play with the Barbie and with the Ken, ta? And Troels with the blonde hair on the back,
Yes, like
smile, and she from the leg.
Isn't it amazing? Everybody sees what their imagination is triggering.
see?
That's so cool. That's so cool.
But the question is, how come this idea of that figure? Because I saw some choreographies before, and actually it was same entrance, but without that kicks from the leg. It just was hip twist, like overturn, something like that. And then you put this in between. How came this idea inside?
We were doing the Cha-Cha show 2 years ago, I think. Yes, and then we had this, Troels is always mixing the music for our showcases, and there was a slow part in the beginning, and then there was this build up to in that part, and then continued the normal Cha-Cha tempo. And I remember we were doing it, and I remember that I really wanted to wear pants, fringe pants for this Cha-Cha. So we already had that image that I'll wear the fringe pants. It will be a lot of movement, etc. And we had Alan Tornsberg help us build the routine for this show. And he usually has quite cool ideas about these kind of little diamonds here and there. And then he just said, with that music, it sounds like this is what you're going to be doing there. So I tried it, we tried it, and then we thought, actually, that works quite good in the show. So we did the show for the first 2 or 3 times, and everybody went very explosive at that moment. Seemed like people realized and liked the figure. So then we saw that response, and we thought, let's try and put it in the routine as well and see how it goes. And now it has become one of a signature moves, so to say. So I think we're stuck with it for a while now.
Yeah. If you want or if you don't want, it's like this. Like
it is
people
because,
want to
like,
see.
Some comps you maybe don't feel for it, or you don't feel the music in the right way, or whatever, and people literally come up to us afterwards. Where was the step? Have you taken it out? What happened? But again, I think what you said, Khrystyna, as well, you noticed that it was something else before, but not that developed. And I think that's in general how we also do our choreographies. We don't want to change everything. We just want to kind of look at each piece and see how can we develop it? How can we make it more special, or more fun, or more music, or whatever, and work with what you have. And either add onto it, or even sometimes simplify, or just turn it around. Or so that's at least how we work if we talk about choreographies and shows.
Generally with us also works the same way, because I mean, I don't know, you have some things which you worked so much on. We saw how you work in the hall.
This is what I wanted to tell,
So then you have to give up all the details, what you made fully to make that commitment. I don't think so. And then and things which are working, but because you fed up or something, I don't know, like, it's not that.
Yeah, just for people to get clear, that we were practicing one time in one hall, like 4 years ago, I think, and we were watching how the guys were practicing, and they were standing like in one figure, like 1.5 hours, just like one step, like few steps, and just doing that figure, and again, and we were like amazed how nice to like, we were amazed about that.
It was just this high spiral. I remember, actually. You remember these things normally because we don't meet that often. Yes, so then of course you check the stuff. Is normal. Yes, in that time you were high amateur level, we were also high amateur level. You come from the other federation. You start to check, you see, and it was just that actually you had that high spiral in the Rumba, the slow one.
Yes.
When you do this hand long. I was just speaking about that connection, and Troels was doing something like a semi cucaracha because you didn't really go fully over the foot. Yes, and she needed that slow motion, and they were doing that for, I don't know, like Khrystyna said, 1.5 hours. And this is also the way how we do often with the things. Yes, we have some stuff, and you go basically on that repetition, and somehow, and not speaking, you are basically, I think, or a little bit speaking,
just
and then not speaking
feedback,
at all.
And
just
again,
more feedback, and then again, and all this stuff, and till the things is really sitting inside. And sometimes, often, I think this is a good advice for the people to have that, basically to have that patience, to develop something. Because I mean,
especially now people say like what to do, and now come back to me this idea that you were practicing 1.5 hours, one single step, you know, and now is the time to work out these small details.
Yeah,
for sure.
Great.
What I think, at least what I picked up as well, you say we don't talk, but I think actually in those moments is where we talk the most with our bodies.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Once you actually, okay, let's just, and you also said a word like work things out. You don't necessarily have to know all the answers all the time, because then it just becomes about repeating for the sake of producing. But I think in those moments, you kind of step back and really sense with your body and figuring out how our bodies actually communicate together. And then how do we add more from the inside out?
Very nice.
Nice. Okay, now I will have a question to Ina, because about the styling, and the boys are not so much. Yeah.
It's easy.
What about you, Troels?
The only thing that changes is the amount of blonde. Sometimes I'm very blonde, sometimes I'm less blonde. That's literally it.
By me, not
But
even
bring no long hair.
So the question to Ina about your dresses, where you get inspiration, like ideas, because your dresses are always like piece of art, like always different, different colors. Like I really enjoy them to watch them. Yeah. And about the hair, like I have the feeling you have always that simple, elegant, clear, pulled back hair. You know, like also a question: why is this style?
Well, your feeling is right. It's definitely like this, and it doesn't mean that I haven't tried anything else. It just doesn't look that good on me. And I like exactly those words that you explained. It. This is basically what I want people to see. Clean, simple, elegant, graphic. It's very clear. It's just like right here, nothing happening. And I just don't suit it. Someone like you seem to really enjoy experimenting with that. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. So this is how I do it. This is one of the reasons why I also do my own hair by myself. It's part of it is because it's that simple and that to the point, and also because I like to get ready for the competition myself, get in that zone and have those 3 hours just for myself. And in terms of the dresses, I don't do them alone. I have help with that, which is really important to point out. One of my dearest friends, Lubo, he is a design graduate, so he basically knows what idea to suggest to me, and we work them together. But I would say, like, I would never sacrifice the silhouette of the female body or of my body for the sake of a design of a dress. That is number one, that I would never, you know, overstep that. And then, of course, very important is where I'm going to wear the dress. I don't think that a dress at UK would suit the one for Blackpool, would suit the one for international or the World Championship. So it's quite nice to remember the setting and the feeling, and obviously whether you'll use it for the final or you'll use it in the first rounds. But in general, if there's like an era or something, I love the 90s. I love the 90s about everything and what the designers did back then. So very often I would find myself scrolling back again and then see, oh, that's a nice detail, or that's this. Sometimes I would see an earring. I love vintage jewelry in general. A bit of an obsession of mine. So sometimes I would see an earring like this one. You see, this is like Buddha.
I already noticed.
See? Yeah. So there is an element in there that I would, let's say, love very much, and then I would make the whole dress about that element. Sometimes I have even taken the earring itself and put it as part of the dress, you know, and make the whole dress around that. So sometimes the fabric is the one that gets the ideas, you know, you see that fabric and then you put, but as I said, very much, I'm very glad that my friend is with me to help me. And of course, Troels to supervise on that, because we always make sure that the whole package is there. So he knows about it all. Yeah.
You know, Troels, yes? You are like more or less involved, yes?
Yeah, so I'm always asking, also because I design my shirts as well. So I don't want that I show up. I mean, mainly I wear black, but still, if I wear up with something with frills and masculine, and she wants something very classy Chanel, it wouldn't look the correct. So I'm always asking about the idea of materials, of design, and the type of materials, so we can kind of combine it more or less. And then I kind of leave the process there until it's on Ina's body, because that's what I'm mostly interested about. Except the word is, how does this dress look on Ina?
Yeah.
So,
it has to showcase the best assets.
Exactly.
Always. That's what I meant. Don't sacrifice the fact that you have beautiful this and this and this for the sake of the design, which is going to hide it. That's never the case.
So that's really where my point is. I don't care if how pretty or the idea of the dress. What I care about is how does it look on Ina, and how does Ina's body move in that dress.
Yeah.
Wow. Very detailed. Thank you. Very
nice.
nice. Now, question is, Marius, we're going to ask you because it's complicated one.
So I have now a tricky one, actually. It's actually like this. After winning Blackpool in amateurs, you managed directly to enter in one dance in Blackpool Final Pro.
In two.
Two.
Yes.
Two.
Mistake.
Then I make a mistake.
So it was Rumba
And pass.
Paso.
And
Paso.
Paso. Okay, so I did a mistake. Next year. Actually, it's even better for the question. How come you didn't manage to have such a success after winning the under 21 than having the same success when you started to enter in the amateurs? Because, you know, there are couples and couples. There are couples which are stronger in the amateur field after under 21 and probably not that strong from amateur to professionals. I speak if they were winners of that previous age group.
Yeah.
And this is a question from your point of view. What was decisive in these two situations?
I mean, it's a very good question. I have never thought about it like that at all. One, because our success in under 21 in some way came so fast and unexpected. So it's just like, whoa, what happened? We won Blackpool. It was the first time I danced Blackpool was with Ina in 2006. So the fact that we won and everything was such a
So you won it by the first time?
The first time we were ninth, both in Rising Star and Youth, and then the second year we won it. So it's been one year and 4 months since we danced together, and then we won the under 21.
Wow.
Nice.
So in some way, how come we did? Because it's true, actually, I don't know if the word struggle is the right word, but we spend a lot of time in the 24 of the amateurs.
Yes.
You can also say we also made it in our first amateur comp. We also made it directly into the 24, even before winning under 21. So at the UK in 2007, we were already in the 24. So I think this, because we were such a new couple, this was where we decided to really just study and build our foundation for the long-term development. So we were never, in some way, winning the under 21 was kind of lucky because we didn't know anything. We just went out and danced. And whatever followed from there was very much like, okay, let's just learn how to really dance. Let's just learn how to really connect, let's learn about music. So it was all about, let's just learn as much as possible. And maybe because of that process, we weren't as proactive on the competitive side.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense what you're saying now, actually.
And in a way, I'm glad almost that we didn't have an instantaneous success in the amateur like this, because probably we wouldn't have been able to sustain it. Let's say you go in, boom, semi-final or final, you don't want to be out of that round at all. You want to make sure that whatever you put on the floor will help you stay there and just push you forward, even if that takes a year or so.
And in some way, I think that's the answer to why it then went fast in the pro, because I felt that foundation was there in a different way. So it was to build on and just make it stronger in some way.
But nice, actually, very nice answer. And this is also, again, coming back to the fact of the couples knowing to build up something which has depth. Yes. And
yes.
Even though, like you said, even though so many times in the 24, and still building on top of that to have a product which after then, like we were just saying before, it made sense because from the amateurs to pro, you did it. I mean, not everybody is doing it. Yes, there are couples which are doing it, and other couples which are not doing it. And
of course, but I
good.
think that patience and what you said, also the word depth, I think it's a crucial period in our dancing that people need to acknowledge that quality, not only on the dance floor, but the quality of the human process going through that depth. And by the end of your career, you have so much more than just whatever was on the floor, but the hours that you shared and the understanding and the cracking the codes all the time and trying to search for more, that's really the pleasure that I carry with me a lot.
Yeah, and I think that in the situation we are right now, it's actually a good time to get back to that patience and to that depth of things, because now we don't have to get ready for a competition. So, you know, to invest really that much. I think now it's the time for everyone. Doesn't matter what age you are or what level or position in the ranking you are.
Because you also get infected by the environment that you're in or the current trends or whatever. And certain requirements are there whenever you compete. You have to be fit, you have to be on, you have to deliver. You can't so it's very much like if you have a bad day, they don't care. And that's part of competing. That's the name of the game. But I do think as well the allowance of sensing much more, and then let's say we go back and say I will always sense, I will always feel, and now how can I make that as competitive as possible instead of the other way around? Okay, I have to compete, and now let me try and sense and feel and listen underneath that. So it's a bit how you turn it around as well.
Nice. Here is question from some people from audience. How is your life in States and why did you decide to move there?
You want to go with that?
Yeah, we enjoy very much where we live and how we live over here. This is our 4th solid year, so to say. The first year was a transition for us. And we've been here these 4 years, and we realized that this is a very special city. It's a very intense place. It's very cosmopolitan with a lot of freedom, but with a lot of things you need to follow up. So this is not a city for someone that is going to lay around and have a long morning, you know. It's really kicking you in the butt. And
I saw that you are waking up even in quarantine about like 7:38 in the morning.
Yes, yes, that's true. There's a lot of things to do in the day right now. Yeah. So we took the decision those 5 years ago because of a couple of things. We were living in Denmark for 8 years and we had a fantastic time. We were so blessed with the studio, with our teachers and the system over there. It was fantastic, the dream place to be. But then there was I don't remember the year exactly when, as you perfectly know, WDSF and WDC were separated. And then we were in a situation where we basically were one of the few, if not the only ones, that in a country that goes another way, we went the other way. So we felt a little bit that empty feeling and the loss of atmosphere around us, and we didn't obviously enjoy that. So we thought, okay, how for the future would this be, and try to foresee it a little bit more in advance. So we were thinking whether Hong Kong or America would be a choice, and we've been traveling from Hong Kong for a bit. We still do, to teach. And we have great respect for that city and for everyone we're connected over there, but it just culturally feels very different. So we could be there 2 weeks, no problem, but more than 2 weeks, it starts to become a little bit heavy for us. And we've been coming to New York for the past 10 years. We have a lot of friends here. And every time we come for, let's say, a week, and we get the best out of that place. And I mean, New York is probably the most artistic, unexpected, and dynamic city there is in the world. So I think that for the age we're at the moment, in the stage of our career we are at the moment, this is definitely the place that combines a good lifestyle with a very good opportunity and future aspect for the dancing, you know. So I think that at this point, there is no better place for us to be.
Clear.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
And one more question to, tricky one. How do you celebrate after competition?
Well, it all depends, of course. If you're talking a small competition, it's not much of celebration necessarily, because
It's on to the next
it's
one.
on to the next one. I need to go practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but of course, the major ones, if we talk something like Blackpool, of course, there's such a build-up leading up to the competition. So, but most of the time for those big events, our families also travel.
Yes.
They come over and watch our dance. So it's usually literally gather up with them and have a drink, just spend time with them, the most of it. Yeah, so it usually is just gather with the family and those you love and friends and so on. And then if anything, we maybe go out when we come back home and for dinner, or like celebrate it then, to just kind of also acknowledge your success sometimes.
Yeah, we like to do that because so many great places in New York, you know, or in Los Angeles or wherever you go, when you can actually go and explore. And we love food, so we can go and try some new food and actually celebrate the fact that we had good 3 months, you know, and appreciate, say thank you, and then continue on.
And what about Ruskin in the Blackpool? Is still existing?
It still exists. It's still existing. I haven't been downstairs for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, but upstairs is still on.
It's still on with the leaky ceiling, you know.
No, everything is still there, and it's nice. Everyone is still gathering and getting drinks. Once the competition is done, we just enjoy this moment of just being friends and around each other.
Great.
It's still everything there, yes?
Everything and nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. No.
And what about the light? You still put the coin to have like light and the water in Blackpool?
Luckily we have managed to upgrade those hotels, but I'm sure there is still a few around. That's what you need to do. But we're lucky we don't have to stay at those hotels anymore.
Yes.
Okay, guys, and the last one is if you can give some wishes and motivation words to the audience, to the dancers.
Yes.
Of course. Well, I think that it will be nice to just say something that will serve everybody where we are at the moment. So, because it's not an easy situation at all. What I would just say that helped me quite a bit is really to just stay 100% focused. So 100% focused on me, and not even try to compare my situation with Troels' situation or with your situation, and try to idolize, oh, but you guys live in a bigger apartment than me and I live in a smaller one, or oh, he's living with the partner, they can practice at home, or so on. I think we should all leave this aside, because everybody is struggling in this situation in their own way. But what we can really do is to take the time and use our imagination. How do we want to come out of this quarantine? And therefore, you can then maneuver your system, your schedule at home, and make the best of it in a worst case scenario situation like we all are at the moment. So that is what I would just like to send out to everyone. Find what you really want to spend your time with, not what you have to be spending your time with, because you only know best yourself.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Troels?
Very nice. I agree. No.
You agree, yes?
Don't remind me, Nino, please.
I agree with Khrystyna.
I agree with
Khrystyna.
No, I do agree in a lot of ways, because I think the most important thing is to allow yourself also to step back and accept that you are in a different situation, and you can't be productive in the same way, or you can't express yourself in the same way, or creative in the same way. So the way that we do things has changed, but we don't necessarily change what we do. So be creative, be like. And for me, especially, what is important is I rediscovered some of my fashion, like old things that I like to do. So like, for instance, understand music a little bit better, or photography, or just reading a little bit more, and just allow those things that you say, oh, I don't have time for them normally. If you don't do them now, it's not because you didn't have time for them. It's really because you don't want to do it. And that's okay too, but now is the time to also kind of say, all those excuses I made before, were they really excuses, or is it something else that's not aligned in my own body? So I use this a lot for reflection and to kind of scrap away all the things I don't need, and habits that I necessarily don't feel is good for me in the direction I want to go from here on. So I think that's also an important thing, that certain things that made you to where you are now is very good, but you sometimes have to change certain things if you want to proceed from here. And that can be a scary realization, because some of those things might, oh, this is what I know, this is what made me successful. Now I have to let go of it, and what now? Now I have to start building something else, or trusting something else, and trust yourself in that process. So that's what I spend a lot of time in this quarantine.
Beautiful. Amazing, guys. It was a great feeling to see you and to speak to you.
It was so good.
It was so good.
Guys were excited.
Thank
you for doing this,
yes,
guys.
and thank you for everyone who was here. I could see the comments scrolling, and we're going to check them afterwards, but we appreciate that whoever is joining us, we really felt you with us, and thank you so much.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Guys,
having us.
first of all, a lot of health to you, and we hope that the situation will get better. Yes, I mean, this is the most important now. Yes. And then, of course, we will continue to enjoy your performances. And
likewise,
it's such a pleasure to see how people just do what they love and do what, like, keep dancing. And yeah, it's great that we're so, as you say, we were dancing in the same studios before, and now we don't see each other, but just to follow each other's journeys and see how you guys give to the world and give to the industry. I think it's amazing.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Lovely.
guys.
Have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.